Hello and welcome everyone to New Moon 2021 Blood Moon Cycle 1. And this is going to be week 2 of our Blood Moon matches, so apologies for the delay. We're just setting everything up. And so yeah, before we start, I'm just going to briefly explain how Blood Moon works and what we will be seeing throughout the stream. So Blood Moon is a weekly round robin series, and normally we have it just as 1 week where it's called New Moon. But for Blood Moon, it's the cycle that's going to be ending before we take a short break, and it's comprised of 2 stages, the round robin stage and the bracket stage. So last week we've already seen the stream for the round robin stage, and through that we had our seeds selected for how they will start in the bracket stage. So I'm just going to show that on screen. Okay, so what you can see here is how the round robin stage ended last week, and based on these placements, this decided how the bracket stage. So the way we've done it for this cycle is the bracket stage, because we had so many people joining, half of our players will be starting in the winner's side of bracket, and the other half will be starting in loser's side. So as you can see here, the bracket is pretty much packed. So we've simplified the bracket scene. So what you can see at the bottom is everyone everyone in the top cut bracket. Unfortunately, Desmond couldn't continue, so I think so Desmond couldn't continue into the bracket stage. But you can see here, so the people that are going up in the bracket are the ones that were placing in the winner's side, and everyone else went into the loser's side. And yeah, so the first match that was played was Ulkeras vs Z. But unfortunately, we won't be able to show every match on stream. And yeah, so our first match will be Symes vs Ulkeras, who won his first match in the Top Cup bracket. But before we start, I'm going to introduce our commentators for today, who will be Nerith and Symes. Hello, guys.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Yeah, hey guys.
All right, well, let's head right into the first match with Ulkeras vs Symes.
Okay, so this is a Gregor versus Gregor. It's a mirror matchup here. Except Elkiris he's got Custody running, and Symes obviously has the 2200 HP, the Chonk Gregor setup, focused more on Buster play, and then the Kernel Force combo.
Yeah, what we see from Alkiris' folder here, he's got actually quite a few strong chips. We see he's got the Destroy Pulse PA. We see the Gundal Soul 3 in Q code to go along with Kernel Force, and we also see he has an attack plus 30. And we also see he has the 2 fast gauges.
Oh yeah, so this is a double fast gauge versus a double slow gauge setup. And yeah, you mentioned the Gundal Soul 3 in Alkiris' folder. Obviously it comes in Q code, so you can use it on the same turn as Kernel Force to knock out your opponent's invis. Why did you choose not to run that, actually?
Well, so part of why is because you kind of need to hold on to it for when you have the Kernel Force. And we see, yes, as you pointed out before, Alkiris has the full Custade, so he has more space in his hand to be able to hold on to the Gundel Soul 3 or the Kernel Force to get the full combo going. Whereas I only have custom 6, so it would be a little bit too clunky for my folder. It would make it a lot more annoying for me to play around using it.
I see. So, what were you thinking going into this matchup?
Yeah, I think the match went pretty well for me when we had played it the previous week in the round robin stage. So I was feeling pretty confident going into it, but that Gundel Force is always very scary to go against, even with as much chonk as I've got. That Gundel Force is a lot of damage, so I knew I still had to be at least a little bit worried about that, as well as the Destroy Pulse.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that you can basically reverse the situation. You can be down an area and then use the grab revenge, which comes in code, obviously, Q code, and then just do like a double area grab into the Kernel Force. And the person can't even react to it if they got hit by the knockback there, then you can just grab off the area and then Kernel Force them right back. So even when you have an area advantage against the Kernel Force, it's still pretty scary depending on whether or not you've got defense loaded up.
Yeah, and especially with that Gundel Soul, yeah, that will remove the invis, so even that won't be able to protect you unless you manage to step past it at the last moment with a very lucky or perfect timing.
Alright, is there anything else you want to say about the matchup, or?
No, I think we can just get into it and see what happens with this Gregor versus Gregor matchup.
Alright, let's step right into it then.
And yeah, so for the very first match, we've already got a double VOD. So we'll be seeing this from both players' perspectives at the same time.
Yeah, so it's Symes on the right side and Alkiris on the left. You can see from the HP difference. Symes going for this turn 1 Holy Panel right here. It's going to give him an edge in the charge shots. Just tanking them, even with his face, he's only taking like 80? 70 damage?
70, yeah.
Manages to get this flash bomb down.
Yeah, and we see Alkiris already has Destroy Pulse in his hand, but he's not gonna go for it this turn with that flash bomb on the field.
Yeah, Alkiris looks like he drew a barrier, or is that the life aura?
I think that was Life Aura. Ooh, but he doesn't manage to get it out in time.
These super holes are making it very easy for Symes to dodge these electric charge shots. Basically, it's really telegraphed which 2 rows of panels you can cover here.
Yeah, neither of us have air shoes, so these holes are an issue for both of us. But we see now Alkiris is going for the Destroy Pulse.
Unfortunately, it was on the Holy Panel, so that Holy Panel gained a ton of value here. Alkiris not getting the full damage, but the blind is still in effect. And Symes gonna just send out these charge shots. Alkiris doesn't want to give away his position by bustering. And that end of turn recovery 300 sends Symes back up to about 2000 HP. So he hasn't connected that much damage yet, but Alkiris, the damage that he's gotten through to Symes has just been mostly healed up by now. Erase Man SP connects for Alkiris, and then Judge Man connects for Symes. So Symes gets his area back, both of them end up paralyzed here. Symes managing to mash out first, stepping down and avoiding this element wood.
When Alkiris manages to avoid the Electbeast charge there.
Ooh, getting the full 3. The full 3 Colonel Soldiers there. Alkiris is down to 40 HP after taking the Colonel Force.
We do see he does have a recovery 300 here, so that will help him. And we also see he has his own Colonel Force in hand, so if he manages to survive until the next turn.
Okay, Fast Gauge comes out for Alkiris, but an Invis comes out for Symes here. Erase Man connects, destroys the anti-damage. Symes' own Sanctuary comes out, as well as an area grab. Ooh, but Alkiris will get this area back. 1 book spawns. Does not manage to make it to the end of turn, being locked onto that 1 row. So Symes opting to go into Charge Cross here to instantly destroy one of the rock cubes, whereas Alkiris is going into Elec Cross just like the last turn, or the last round.
The Erase Man SP. It's pretty hard to. It can be tough to get the timing on that, and with the down diagonal like that.
And both anti-damages pop at the end of turn here. Alkiris does not have Dust Pulse yet. Has 2 Pulse 2s in the folder. Or
Yeah,
in hand,
like
rather.
It looks like he's going Electbeast, maybe to try and break this holy panel for me with the Beast Charge. Ooh, but he's just using his anti-damage instead.
Symes pops the anti-damage here. Alkiris might not be able to squeeze these chips out after getting hit by this Erase Man. Ooh, does manage to squeeze all of them out here. Not a whole lot of damage, however. Symes opting to also go into Beast at this point. Ooh, an anti-navi from Symes is going to steal the Erase Man here.
Yeah, so I wanted to go into Electbeast and use the Beast Charges on him, but
oh, but he manages to protect himself. So Symes manages to dodge this 480 damage, and looks like Alkiris also missed the input there to turn it into wood. To turn everything into grass.
yeah, so that's a couple drops we've seen from Alkiris now. The Erase Man SP earlier, now this Element Man.
Alkiris going into Charge Beast at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Oh. I think that was another missed input.
Yeah, so we see now I have about a 1000 HP lead. And also the kernel force here. But we see for Alkiris, he has both Barrier 200 and Life Aura. So will he be able to survive this Q force with all that defense?
Ooh. So Akiris does manage to survive this Q force. But actually it is not quite complete here, so Symes will have another shot at getting some of the damage down with this either Tengu Man or Windrak to knock off the Life Aura.
Yeah, and I didn't see what chips Alkiris picked. Looks like he's got another Elect Pulse.
Oh no, and this will pop the anti-damage as well.
Oh, but he used the Elect Pulse to buffer the anti-damage and not let him avoid more of the damage from the Kernel Force.
Ooh, and Alkiris does have his own Kernel Force and attack plus 30 at this point. In fact, he's got the full combo here.
Yeah, he's got the Wind Track, the...
Ooh, and it actually ends up taking Symes down. Just a massive amount of damage, especially from the Gundel Soul there.
Yeah, well, the Beast over attack plus 30 Q force is devastating.
Yeah, unfortunately Symes couldn't duck onto the one of the holy panels.
Yeah, it might have been a better play to just stay on that holy panel, but so what happened there? I missed it the first time. So I had to get rid of my Flash Bomb because as soon as he used the Q Force, I wanted to use Element Man to take out the back. But what happened is it didn't actually break the panel in the top row because the Flash Bomb was still there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't notice that like at the time, but going over the VOD again after I saw what happened there, and that extra soldier is what ended up making the difference.
Okay, so Alkiris, his anti-damage just got popped, but he's going to protect it by going into Beast here. So he's going to cancel the anti-damage trigger. Symes dropping the Sanctuary and Slow Gauge here in the same turn. Gonna connect this Erase Man.
Yeah, I think it looking at it now, I don't think using Sanctuary against Elect Beast is, I don't think that's actually a good play, but it looks like Alkiris was decided to just use that anti-damage instead of chip charging it.
Yeah, Alkir's definitely not getting the value he could out of Elect Beast here.
Yeah, but he does have this Element Man SP, which could remove the Sanctuary and decross my luck.
Yeah, and unfortunately it looks like Symes does not have any defense loaded up here. It is sitting comfortably on these holy panels, but they will not protect against the Element Man. Okay, let's see if Alkirus can land this. Oh, he misses the input.
Oh, and he steps into another hit from the Elect Beast.
So Symes is trapped on this panel, I believe. Oh. Symes choosing to chip charge this this holy panel straight into the Q Force combo. And Symes closes that out.
Yeah, so definitely well played to Alkirus, especially in that second round. Yeah, the Beast over attack plus 30 Gundel force is very scary to go up against, but in that third round there was just went very unfortunately for Alkirus with that missing that Element Man SP, because that would have, especially since I was still in a luck cross.
Yeah, that would have been 480 damage. I'm not sure if that would have made the difference there, since there was still a pretty substantial HP difference at the end, but for sure it could have been a huge chunk of your HP going down.
Yeah. So but yeah, it was still I think I'm not sure how many of our tournaments Alkirus has entered before. I think he's might have entered some other new moons in the past, maybe All Stars. But it was still definitely a good showing for him, and we'll see how he does later on in the bracket.
Yeah, definitely. Well played to both players there. And I think we'll be moving into our next set. So I think our next set is T-Chomp versus Salad. And it is a Gregar versus Falzar matchup. You can see here T-Chomp chose to run Delta Ray instead of the usual Kernel Force. So Delta Ray's damage is extremely conditional. It's based heavily on your opponent's positioning, as well as whether or not there's any broken panels nearby, because it's basically just Proto Man appearing for the 3 slashes. So if he can't show up for one or more of them, you do lose a significant chunk of the damage. But on the upside, it destroys Life Aura by itself, because its damage is 260 times 3. So a single slash will get rid of Life Aura, and it can still do up to 520 damage afterwards.
Yeah, and especially in a in another Gregor matchup, it would definitely be at a disadvantage compared to Kernel Force. But against the Falzar matchup, if you manage to connect Delta Ray against the Tengu Cross, that's so much damage. That would basically win you the game right there.
Yeah, that would be 1,560 damage, I believe. So it will basically instantly kill most Falzar players if they have any HP missing.
Yeah, so Salad will definitely need to watch out for that, and if she goes into Tengu Cross, we'll have to be very careful. So we see Salad with the A code folder again with the Elect Pulse 3, the Risky Honey, the Elect Dragon, Fire Hit, the Spout Man, all that good stuff. And so it has coverage on basically every Gregor cross except for Slash. But then we also see a Salad with the Groundman SP and Meteor Knuckle for that Slash coverage. So
yeah, so Salad definitely has the tools here to deny crosses, to get the double damage in, and to threaten Gregor here. T-Chomp, on the other hand, has this Elecman SP and Vidal set up. Also is running Dest Pulse, right? 2 Pulse 2s and 2 Pulse 1s. Overall, it is going to be, I think, a bit of a struggle for T-Chomp to protect his crosses against this much elemental coverage from Salad. And yeah, so we can see that the Delta Ray Edge is going to be threatening against Tengu, but the Meteor Knuckle and Groundman SP will be pretty much equally threatening against Slash Cross. So both players here are going to have to watch their crosses very carefully and try to protect themselves against these really heavy-hitting chips.
Yeah, so this is the second Cust 8 Gregor we're seeing, so...
Yeah,
for
sure.
Ahead.
Yeah, Cust 8 for sure is really interesting to see on Gregor. Typically, Gregor will opt for a lower Cust because the crosses are actually so strong that you end up wanting to sacrifice a bit more of your Navi Cust for the attack max and for your Buster stats. Sorry, what were you going to say, Simes?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, the Cust 8 Gregor is interesting because usually they'll either have air shoes or the high HP like I'm running. So either of those things doesn't leave you with a room for a higher Cust unless you sacrifice something else. But in this case, they're with Alkiris as well. They're just going without air shoes. And the one last thing I want to mention is that T-Chomp doesn't have any gauges, and Salad has 2 fast gauges, so as soon as she pops one of those, the game will just be in fast gauge, so T-Chomp will have to keep that in mind.
What is interesting there is that Dest Pulse does benefit more from fast gauge turns because your opponent will effectively spend not more time, but more chips will be used within the period in which your opponent would be blinded by the Dest Pulse. So T-Chomp won't be at complete disadvantage against the fast gauges, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, but Salad, as Falstar, if she hadn't used it already, would be able to go into Tomahawk Cross to deal with that.
Yeah, so there's the counterplay option there to get rid of the blind. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, let's get right into the match.
So this is another double VOD. Salad on the right and T-Chomp on the left. And I believe we did not mention, but Salad is running Folder Pack 1, which gives a plus Mega 1, so Salad is running 6 Navi chips here. And we'll see how that comes into play as well.
Yeah, so that gives her room for the big 3 staple asterisk Navis, the Judge, Element, Erase. And then she's also got the 3 SP Navis, the Spout Man, Element Man, and Ground Man. So the folder pack 1 is definitely actually a surprisingly good value Navi cust piece.
Yeah, and all of those 3 SP Navis, they do have the potential to get the double damage against Gregor crosses, so we'll see if we see any of those juicy plays.
Yeah, she has the Spout Man in code, and then the Element Man is just a great pick because it gives you coverage against the 5 crosses.
So we see T-Chomp here opting to go into Elect Cross turn 1. And that could be a very quick decross if Salad chooses to lock this Risky Honey.
Yeah, unless T-Chomp brought defense, which he could use against the Risky Honey. We see he has the Sanctuary, which
Oh. So yeah, T-Chomp can use the Sanctuary, get these panels back, get onto Holy, so it won't hurt as much, but you can see the ×2 Risky Honey 3 right there.
we also see Salad is in a full synchro.
Yeah, this is a rough situation here for T-Chomp. He's also stuck using this machine gun.
Now, if this machine gun connects, that will remove the full synchro. But Salad manages to get this invisible out in time. And Life Aura.
Yeah, the Life Aura as well is going to protect against anything here. T-Chomp is going to have to spend some time throwing this Wind Rack in order to remove the Life Aura.
And it looks like Salad's gonna go for the ×2 Groundman SP.
Ooh, T-Chomp manages to protect against it with this Invis.
Yeah, it looks like T-Chomp decided to keep his chips from the previous turn.
Gonna land this Erase Man, and don't think there's any follow-up here. Salad opting not to pop the fast gauge here.
Yeah, these holy panels could be an issue for Salad. She hasn't drawn her Element Man to remove those yet, so...
Ooh, so the Life Aura will protect against this Spoutman SP. It would have been 180 damage otherwise.
When Salad taking 2 hits from that erase charge shot.
Yeah, that was quite a trade there. Choosing to Wind Rack at that specific moment. It guarantees that you knock off the Life Aura, but you do take the 2 hits in exchange.
And so it looks like Salad's using a Meteor Knuckle to deal with that Sanctuary, but she's already used the Groundman SP, so she won't have any slash coverage left apart from going into Dust Cross.
Ooh, does not manage to avoid the Erase Tail there. It does get rid of that anti-Navi.
Yeah, but with the Elect Pulse 2 Wind Rack combos, it will be tough for T-Chomp to keep this Erase Beast here. And yeah, there it goes.
Loses it right off the bat, just eats this combo. He does have this recovery 300 and this anti-damage here, so he should be able to survive. But loses the anti-damage to the... Wow, alright, so 300 to 700 HP here. Salad is on grass, so just a potential for ×2. But T-Chomp would have to go into Heat or Charge Cross for that.
And it looks like he is gonna go right into Heat Beast here. And with Salad and a Tomahawk Cross, yeah, this would do a 600 damage if T-Chomp connects a Beast Charge. Looks like he's going for the V-Doll.
Ooh.
Oh wow, oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. T-Chomp, I think would have been better off chip charging that.
Oh. Wow, managing to avoid death from the bees right there, but also not getting any damage out.
It looks like T-Chomp's gonna be going for a Beast over Destroy Pulse here.
It is a fast gauge turn, so the Beast over will be over quite quickly. Ooh.
Yeah, and we see there a Destroy... Oh, that hole is very unfortunate, because it's going to block the Delta Ray.
Yeah, and Delta need each hit to land in sequence. So if the first one misses, it will not hit it will not do the second or third hits.
Yeah, but we see Salad's Beast out there just finishes it off with the Feather Shot. Very close first round though.
T-Chomp might go for this aggressive slash cross play on the first turn. Gets the Element Man SP freeze right off the bat into this Wind Rack, and also getting full area control here. Gets rid of all of the ice on the field, but Salad gets a counter hit with the Risky Honey.
To the ×2 Spout Man SP, look at all that damage.
I think the stream player cut out. Just give me 1 second while I try to fix that. Not really sure what the issue is. Apologies for that.
Yeah, that ×2 Spout Man SP was from Salad was too powerful. It broke the video.
Yeah, it was just too much damage right there. We can't show that on screen, you know, not on the live stream. That would be a little bit too violent.
Yeah, there might be children watching this. That Spout Man is just too powerful. It's not safe for work.
Apologies, just quickly fixing this.
Okay, and it looks like we're back.
Okay, everything should be fixed now.
Yeah, we need a technical difficulties screen. That's just a Spout Man.
So you can see T-Chomp getting this full area control here, clearing the field, and getting a counter hit here by the Risky Honey straight into the ×2 Spoutman SP. And that is 720 damage from Spoutman SP alone. So that was only the first turn. T-Chomp losing quite a lot of HP there. I believe 900 or so, 800.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage. He's still got this +2 area with the slash cross, but it looks like he's opting to go into erase instead.
Yeah, and I think with good reason. Seeing Meteor Knuckle and Groundman SP at this HP threshold, he might just die. Raceman from Salad doesn't connect.
Yeah, and
But
that
his
also
grab
lets
revenge.
Ooh, and so that's a different trap other than anti-damage. I think it must be anti-navi.
Yeah, I do believe Salad is only running anti-damage and anti-navi, so T-Chomp should know. Okay, Sanctuary comes down, and T-Chomp does pop the anti-navi here.
Oh no!
Oh!
Oh, and that was very unfortunate for T-Chomp there, losing the Delta Ray.
Yeah, he had to throw the Delta Ray Edge away to avoid triggering even more bees.
Well, I think Salad TFC'd Invis.
Oh no, and it's, yeah, Salad lands the Element Grass right here, gets rid of the Holy Panels. Oh, straight away into Element Fire, Element SP Fire, which will bring T-Chomp down to 1 HP. He pops the Recuv 300 and anti-damage. And I believe these are fast gauge turns, so very quickly moving along. T-Chomp managing to pull some more defense here, but not sure if he will lock it. Boon,
Yes, so
full
it could be tough for T-Chomp to get anything out of this V-Doll while Salad's in Dustcross.
Ooh, and the Beast Rush combo there. The pulses into the Wind Racks, finishes T-Chomp off.
Wow, that thumbnail is
Yeah, that doesn't look quite right. It's the moment before the crosses fully cross. But yeah, well played to both players there. That was a terrifying Spoutman SP, the counter hit into the ×2 Spoutman SP there at the end of that match.
yeah. That still well played by T-Chomp going up against Salad there.
Yeah, definitely well played to T-Chomp as well. And with that, I think we're moving on to our next set, which should be player 0 versus Pablo.
Oh yeah, so this is a match that I was looking forward to seeing.
And why is that?
Because they I don't think I think this is actually the first time they've played in a while.
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I do think that's true. They usually don't end up playing each other in Blood Moons. I'm not really sure. But So you can see the G code coming out from player 0 here. It's got the classic chips, uninstall, Groundman SP is encode, and you've got the elemental dragons, heat and wood, so they combo off of each other, or rather the heat combos off of the wood. You get the ×2. You have the bubble star 3s that can be charged to break life aura, as well as just doing really good damage overall and locking down your opponent, and the machine gun 2s. And then you can also see the Neo variable sword coming out from player 0 in code with Meteor Knuckle, so it will give player 0 some options to do even more damage on the Meteor Knuckle turn. And it is a 1400 HP setup. This looks like the classic Falzar Custate. Has Russian Beat, Super Armor, Undershirt, Leg Stop, Attack 4, so you still have some options with your Buster with the charge shots.
Yeah, but we do see he has also has the 2 recovery 300s and a lot of defense, so even with only that low HP, it will still be pretty tough to actually manage to get the deletion on him.
That is true, and like we mentioned in the last set, player 0 also does not have the Spoutman SP, but does have the Groundman SP and Elementman SP and Meteor Knuckle. So this is very good coverage against Gregar. Groundman SP always able to threaten the Slash Cross, and Element SP giving really good coverage against Elect Cross and the Heat and Charge crosses as well.
G code has a lot of coverage. It's definitely one of the strongest codes in the entire game. But then,
yeah.
Did you want to go over Pablo's folder next?
Yeah, sure. So Pablo is doing the setup that he usually does, which is double fast gauge in Gregar, which is kind of strange. We don't see this too much because Gregars typically want to abuse their charge shots and really drag the match out with slow gauge so that they can just nuke their opponent with charge shots, really abuse the damage difference and the difference in, I guess you would call it the reliability of Gregar charge shots. But instead Pablo opting to go with double fast gauge, Q-Force combo, also has a uninstall from G, and Groundman SP kind of checks his opponent's Slash Cross if it's a Gregar versus Gregar matchup. Other than that, there's a lot of defense here. Triple invis, double anti-damage, double recovery 300s, even opting to run a barrier 200 to go with the life aura. And also the full cast as well, not ragged or anything, but it will come up and it can help I think particularly in matchups against the other Gregar players, you can knock down one of their beast turns, so the threat of a beast Q-Force is diminished there. But against the Falzar, I'm not sure how much value you would get out of it. Might just end up beast charging it.
Yeah, I know that in Pablo's match in pools, he did manage to take a round off of Salad. So based on that, we do know that Pablo can definitely do well against Falzar players with this folder.
Yeah, definitely the tools are there. There's the potential for, always the potential for the Q-Force coming out and just doing a ton of damage. And I think that's about it, other than the noteworthy thing about Pablo's Navicust, which is that it is running air shoes, so it's covering up for Gregar's natural weakness there of not having access to shoes through the crosses or beast.
Yeah, I think in the past we've seen Pablo actually used bugged cust with air shoes, and I think he also had a warp bug, but it looks like this time he's opted for the standard Gregar air shoes cust.
Alright, I think that's it. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the match. So this is from player zero's point of view.
Yeah, no double VOD this time. We're back to just single. So we see he's already got these bubble stars and machine gun, the GG.
Yeah, and having that Element Man SP in hand at the very start as well is going to be very useful against Gregar.
Yeah, so we'll see if Pablo decides to go into charge or heat cross, he would be at risk of instantly losing it to this bubble star. So we'll see what cross he decides to go into.
Yeah, charge cross is always a very tempting option for most Gregar setups because they tend to run lower custs. Like Pablo's on cust 6 in this setup. The charge cross will give him value if he makes it at the end of a turn with it. He'll get an additional cust for each turn. Ooh, choosing no cross.
We see he immediately throws something to beat.
Yeah, can't forget to feed the bird. Double area grabs coming down to bring it back to the neutral area. The bubble star lands, but this end of turn barrier 200 protects from the machine gun.
Yeah, and we see Pablo right away popping the fast gauge, so we'll see how player zero can play around that. It looks like he's going to use his own barrier 200 here. What do you think of the reflector pick?
I'm a fan of Reflector. I do think it's a nice chip, and I think it makes your opponent feel dumb when they fall into it. But I'm not sure how good it actually is.
Yeah, I think it's in its utility, it's kind of almost similar to Risky Honey. Only unlike Risky Honey, it's in the asterisk code.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's maybe a little bit less useful than Risky Honey, just because your opponent has to be lined up with you to trigger it. So, and also the damage will only trigger if you activate the reflector, whereas Risky Honey you always get that at least 1B.
Yeah, that's true. It is strong enough to break Life Aura though, so it does.
Yeah, that is true.
That going for it, and we see now Pablo with the get in here.
Ooh, so this anti-damage is going to be taken off immediately, and then player zero is timing it so that it will not pop his own anti-damage. Manages to squeeze it in at the end of the turn here.
We see player zero's been able to keep his Dust Cross this entire time so far, so we see him just being able to cycle through his folder to get exactly the chips he wants. And now we see he's going to go for the uninstall machine gun play.
Ooh, so an instant full cust out of Pablo here. Was maybe predicting that player zero would go into Beast and would be trying to waste one of the turns with the full cust. Ooh. The uninstall lands, and the Sanctuary gets dealt with by this Wood Dragon.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Pablo, that as soon as he used the Sanctuary, player zero just had that Wood Dragon ready to go.
Yeah, and it is player zero's only Wood Dragon in the folder, so that was definitely very unfortunate.
Yeah, the one good thing about that for Pablo though is now he knows that Electcross would be pretty safe for him to use.
Oh, and the double damage from the Heat Dragon comes through. Erase Man connects for Pablo though, trading a little bit of damage back.
When player zero manages to mash out in time. But we see Pablo TFC that anti-damage with ground man SP. This is a very close game so far. We do see Pablo with a slight lead here, but
So let's see if player 0's gonna manage to land this bubble star. It would be a D-cross, who unfortunately it does not connect. Erase Man gets blocked by the Life Aura from Pablo. Oh, but managing to land his own Ground Man SP here while dealing with the Life Aura using the Tengu back B.
yeah, and this is a very close game so far. Only a 40 HP difference between the two of them. So this is neck and neck so far. Looks like player 0 is going to opt for a more defensive turn with this Life Aura and anti-damage.
Yeah, it might be the smart play here. Pablo has used the heavy hitter so far in the Groundman SP, and in this folder the only other thing that would be really threatening and volatile would be the Kernel Force.
Yeah, and we see the player 0, both those recovery 300s are now back in his hand. I think he dust shooted them earlier, so he's cycled all the way back through his folder now.
Yeah, and player 0 opting to go with the double. Oh, looks like this might be a Kernel Force turn, but there is no Beast yet. Nope, no Kernel Force this turn. But Pablo does get the area back here, and pops the anti-damage. So Pablo has dealt with player 0's defense here, but player 0 does have quite a lot more.
Yeah, let's see if he can. This reflector wouldn't be too useful against the charge cross though, because the charge tackle has the breaking properties, so it would go right through that reflector.
Yeah, it might have some value against the Kernel Force though, if you line up with your opponent and you can just trade 200 back while blocking the soldier. But Pablo here is probably waiting for these panels to come back. Ooh. Trapping Pablo here. Oh, not fully, not managing to get that last panel. Gets a D-cross.
And so we see player 0 going into Tomahawk Cross here to get that status guard, because he's probably predicting the Kernel Force to come out this turn.
Yeah, if the Kernel Force doesn't come out soon, I'm not sure when it would. This is turn 11 now. Pablo dropping Holy Panel. Probably gonna try to erase Tail. Ooh, just would not manage to land it.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Pablo. And so we saw how close this round was before, but
Ooh, the entirety of the Kernel Force.
And he manages to block the tail arrow with the reflector, so we see player 0 getting great use out of that reflector there.
Yeah, as if just to rub salt in the wound at the end there. You know, canceling the whole, or blocking the whole Kernel Force with the Invis, and then blocking the Erase Tail as well.
Yeah, and we're already up to turn 13, so there's not gonna be an ooh. Or that might have been, I'm not sure, that might have been intentional, because now that that will trap Pablo's Slash Cross in the back. That might have been intentional from player 0 there.
Yeah, and basically at this point, it is going to be those panels are going to be broken for the rest of the turns that are actually going to be in the game. So up until damage judge, this should be it. Ooh, player 0 not managing to get input.
Yeah, but we see yeah, and Pablo's not even bothering going into the beast over here either. He does manages to, oh no, and the area times out right at the end there.
Yeah, so you see the was 1800 to 800 basically, the damage judge there.
Yeah, that was, so player 0 won the damage judge by about 1,000.
Yeah, so unfortunately the damage mitigated by going to beast over at the end would not have been nearly enough to tip the damage judge in Pablo's favor.
Yeah, so we'll see if maybe we'll see how Pablo adapts this round. We'll see if maybe he waits to use the fast gauge instead of using it right away on the first turn this time.
To turn 1 Elec cross, I think he's trying to adapt here and trying to get a lot more free damage from his Elec cross.
Yeah, but with that life aura from player 0, he's that's gonna really mitigate what Pablo can get from this Gaden.
That's true. Yeah, the Gaden is basically just going to be nullified here. Panels should come back around at the beginning of this next turn.
Yeah, so that player 0 already got great mileage out of that life aura, because otherwise Pablo would have just been able to get free charge shots. Gadon is a extremely powerful chip with Gregor crosses if your opponent doesn't have air shoes, because yeah, it just locks them in for those free charge shots. But player 0 is now going into Tengu.
Ooh, gets a D cross and double damage there. That Wood Dragon. Ooh, double damage on Heat Dragon as well. The pressure from the Tengu cross, the Tengu rack, forcing Pablo back, and then eating the Heat Dragon.
We already see this, the N-code turn of death here with the Neovari and Meteor Knuckle. But it looks like he's opting for the Ground Man and Machine Gun instead.
Ooh, patiently waiting for this time freeze opportunity.
Yeah, this round is off to a terrible start for Pablo. And this could already be the game right here if player 0 goes for the Neovari or Meteor Knuckle.
Pablo does have the 2 recovery 300s that might kick in and save him, so we'll have to wait and see. If he does not manage to draw them, then he's going to be hard pressed to survive this next turn though. Fast gauge gets dropped by Pablo here. Ooh, drops his own life aura. We'll protect from this Erase Man, but it will be very quickly dealt with by Tengu back B.
Oh, I'm surprised that player 0 didn't get countered by that machine gun when he tried to use the Neo variable.
Yeah, it might have been very close there.
Yeah, so Pablo will need to get those, probably need to get those Recuv 300s out on this turn. He should still be blinking from getting hit by that meteor knuckle, even though it doesn't look like he is here.
Pablo going to Slash. Player 0 going to Tomahawk.
We do see one of the Recov 300s come out for Pablo.
Ooh, that was very close. Almost got hit by that the bubble star. But managing to squeeze into Invis to protect himself against it.
Yeah, and we just saw a beat come out there, so that could have been a Judge Man maybe, or Element Man. So we see Pablo taking some time and Cust here thinking what he wants to do for this next turn.
Ooh, so it is going to be Geddon, but it is fast gauge as well, so...
Yeah, and so we'll probably see a Beast out from player 0 here.
Yeah, wouldn't be a huge loss to just Beast, but looks like he's gonna stay here. Sanctuary dropped by Pablo here. Ooh, so that might have been the uninstall attached to the machine gun, and that would be the reason why player 0 is holding that hand.
Yeah, but it looks like Pablo's gonna be able to avoid it here. And yeah, that the Gaddon already wore off. Those panels are all back. Oh, misses the Element Man SP.
Ooh, the Wind Rack connects here. Pablo down to 80 HP.
Yeah,
Effectively 160.
Yeah, I saw him use one of his recovery 300, so I'm not sure if he used both or just one. We see the, it looks like we're gonna see a Q-Force this turn. That was a very unfortunate TFC for Pablo, though. But he...
Wow, so the barrier 200 and that anti-damage at the end there, basically negating all of the Q4 soldiers.
Yeah,
Player 0 not even going for the Elec to break an additional column of soldiers.
Okay, and there's the second Recov 300 from Pablo, but we also see player 0 using both of them now.
At the rate it's currently going, if Pablo doesn't get some charge shots or beast charges in here and seriously take down player 0's HP, the damage judge might end up going in player 0's favor again.
Yeah, and since his beast charge is gonna be interrupted by this anti-damage going off, and now he's not in range anymore.
Erase Man doesn't connect. Pablo did drop the anti-damage. Gain this ground man SP at least, gonna connect for some more damage, but not sure if it's enough to close the gap.
Yeah, player 0 is now out of chips though, but I'm not sure. We're definitely pretty late in the match. We're gonna see what turn it is here in a second. Ooh,
Turn
already on
12.
to turn 12, and I'm not sure why Pablo used that full cust there.
Turn 13 now.
And I'm not sure which he's used Lex, so he has if he goes into heat, that will just be countered by the spout cross here.
And looks like it will come down to damage judge here. And I can't see any way Pablo would win this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little bit closer than the first round was, but Player Zero should still have quite a decent lead.
Yeah, so about 480, 490.
Yeah, so definitely closer than the first round was, but still not enough.
Yeah, so well played to both sides there. It did come down to damage judge.
Yeah, it seemed like it might have been a tough matchup for Pablo against that G code. That G code just does so much damage, especially to Gregor with some of those chips, and the Meteor Knuckle as well. So in a damage judge situation, it seems very tough to overcome all those strong chips Player Zero brought.
Yeah, and everything from the bubble stars to the wood dragon and the ground man SP and element man SP, all of these different chips getting really good coverage against Pablo's crosses, kind of making him think twice about staying in any of the crosses for too long, making it really hard for him to get a value of them and abuse the charge shots. And I think the fact that the fast gauges were dropped relatively early also made it a lot more difficult for Pablo to squeeze in that extra damage that might have been able to overcome the damage judge difference.
Yeah, not to mention that Player Zero also had a lot of defense in his folder to help deal with like those get on turns from Pablo. Player Zero could just as we saw in the first round, he just popped the life aura and was able to wall out that get on basically.
Yeah, and that would have been basically 420 damage for Pablo, so this could have been much closer if not for that turn 1 life aura protecting player 0 against the get in play. But yeah, well played to both players again, and I think we'll be moving into our next set, which should be Nerif versus Symes.
Yeah, so yeah, so we saw our pools match on stream last week.
Yeah, the that ending specifically.
Yeah, yeah, with the Beast over Super Vulcan. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure too much about either of these guys. I haven't ever seen them before, so.
Yeah, I too have not taken a look in the mirror this morning, so. But really, I think we've talked about this setup back in the round robin stage. There is a lot of damage, potential damage, coming out from Nerif's folder with the Super Vulcan and the Poison Pharaoh, but both of those are kind of difficult to connect. They're difficult to land, you know, they have their specific conditions. You have to have complete area control in order to drop the Poison Pharaoh on the back column and really guarantee that it's going to go through. But it is also kind of a tough situation if that does happen. If Poison Pharaoh lands on the back top panel for Symes, there is nothing in his folder, I believe, that can get rid of it.
Even if it wasn't in the top, I don't think the Tengu Man would do enough damage to kill it.
That is true. The Poison Pharaoh should have 100 HP, and the Tengu will only do one hit of 70 if it's dropped at the bottom. So really, either position, if the Poison Pharaoh ends up there, it would be a very quick end, or not really quick. It'd be kind of dragged out actually, thanks to the Poison Pharaoh not dealing its damage super quickly, but the drain is really significant and would put a very short timer on the match.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times before. Pharaoh was extremely common in most of the previous Battle Network games. So in Battle Network 6, it was finally nerfed, but even with those nerfs, it can still be, it's just a little bit harder to set up. But once it is set up with that HP drain, it's still extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I have seen enough recordings of PvP matches from previous Battle Network games with the Poison Pharaoh somehow just tanking absolutely everything that comes its way and refusing to die. So definitely only having 100 HP in Battle Network 6, probably the right call compared to previous games.
Yeah, and it also, I think, it no longer even goes through Invis at all in 6, whereas like back in 4, it completely removed their Invis entirely. So
yeah, definitely a lot weaker in 6.
Yeah, the one advantage it has in 6 is that in all the previous games, Anubis was a mega chip, so it used up a valuable mega chip slot. So at least in 6, Anubis is only a standard chip. But in your case, it doesn't really matter anyways, because you're only using the 3 megas anyways.
Yeah, that is true. I do believe I talked to someone about it, probably Soul, talking about the specific matchup, and I think he was under the impression that this matchup was in my favor for the simple reason that you were running holy panels and I had poison seeds to throw at the holy panels. I'm not sure if I really agree with that assessment of the matchup, but it is true that I at least have some options to deal with them.
Yeah, I think it's probably slightly more in my favor just because of all that chonk. And obviously that is a lot for you to try and get through.
Yeah, it is a combined total 2800 HP when you factor in the recovery 300s. So it's very unlikely that I would be able to just delete you before you even activate the recovery 300s. 2200 HP is such a nice buffer against a lot of burst and a lot of more volatile chips. So even if I were to land like a double point, attack plus 30, white capsuled Super Vulcan in Beast, that is only 1400 damage. That is a little bit more than half of your HP. And that's really like the biggest single hit I can do on you. So you should be able to get some good value out of the defense against me and just manage to squeeze by and pressure with the Buster.
Yeah, for sure. We do have the same number. We do each have 4 area grabs. So that and we each have the Judgment. I do have the extra grab revenge though. But overall the amount of area is pretty even.
Yeah, the area game should be very evenly matched here. And I've got the fast gauge regged, and you've got slow gauge, double slow gauge, but one of them is regged as well. So, but what we have here is 3 slow gauges total between the two of us, so it is most likely going to end up being slow gauge turns. And if you do manage to protect your cross and just abuse charge shots, it will be kind of difficult for me, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting. It's basically 2 completely opposite types of build. We have yours with all the explosive damage with the Super Vulcan combo, the base anomaly, the destroy pulse, and then mine is just this this tanky Gregor that wants to wear you down with the passive damage from all the crosses.
Yeah, it should be an interesting set to watch, and I think we can hop right into it. So right here we can see almost a turn 1 Dust Pulse, but one of those is or two of those are Elect Pulse 2s. There's also a double Rock Cube right here, so very tempting to go into Dust and try to suck them up.
Yeah, and I guess that Meteors would be much more useful in Falzar matchups where you could try to use it against Tomahawk Cross for the double damage, but against a Gregor matchup, you're just
Ooh, and Slimes manages to actually step down, dodging that cube. And yeah, the Meteors definitely gets a lot more value pressuring Tomahawk. In versus a Gregor setup, it's usually just gonna pop an anti-damage like that. Yeah, Slime's even managing to dodge that second cube right out of the anti-damage there.
Yeah, I guess your timing on that was just like a tiny little bit off, which is unfortunate. Ooh, but we do see now that that Destroy Pulse.
Yeah, it should be very difficult for Slimes to avoid this here. I need to turn with a lot of defense up. This Holy Panel, anti-damage, or it could be anti-navi, as well as the invis.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the other thing about the Holy Panels and Sanctuaries is it actually pretty much means that you're it pretty much forces you to use the poison seeds just on their own, so it actually pretty much basically takes a Poison Pharaoh right off the table.
Yeah, and that could be pretty harsh considering Poison Pharaoh already demands that I have a full area control. Double Life Aura getting dropped here. Looks like both of us were trying to get an Erase Man off here. We do manage to destroy the Holy Panel here. So pulling some chips that aren't necessarily all too useful here. The Recovery 300's coming into my hand, both of them at the same time actually. And failed input right there. It uses the slow gauge instead of fully charging it. So I'm forced to charge the base anomaly right there.
Yeah, but it looks like that was actually the anti-navi and not the anti-damage. But you would have had no way of being able to tell that until using the beast charge.
Yeah, so I basically found out by charging the base anomaly that I could have just used the base anomaly.
Yeah, but I was on the holy panel anyways, so it would have only been 320 damage.
So the ground cross actually went underground there and dodged the wind rack. So it's a really awkward position right now, actually, because I managed to protect my life aura against the Kernel Force turn, and so you're missing basically your entire Giga worth of damage.
Yeah, so we actually, it turns out we both ended up basically losing our Gigas. And I do at least use the second wind rack there to remove the aura, life aura, and then the ×2 tail arrow on the ground cross.
Yeah, that was an extremely painful erase tail right there. So these recovery 300s finally gonna come into play, but I really have like no offensive options available. Having already used Beast out, I can't even try and go for like a Beast Wind Rack to try to knock off your Erase Beast.
Yeah, I didn't mean to use that area grab. I think I wanted to do another beast charge with it.
Yeah, that would make the most sense there. I think doing the second one also fully breaks the panels. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, it does. So it would have completely locked you into that that one panel. You have your sanctuary here, so you would have been able to repair those panels anyways.
Unfortunately here, so it looks pretty good right off the bat here at Spout versus Heat, but Slime still has Element Man SP and Element Man in his hand, so it's a ×2 damage, decrosses, locks me into the back where he gets another Element Man elect there. And closes out the match with the Heat Cross charge shots.
Yeah, and that match was actually a lot closer than it looked because those Element Mans was actually my last chips. So if you had managed to survive, that would have had like no defense for like another beast out Super Vulcan player, whatever you would have decided to go for. So
yeah, it was unfortunate that specifically I went into Spout on that turn. And like on a surface level, you can easily see that you already used your Elect Cross. In fact, it was Elect Beast, and so you ran out of the Beast turns right there. So it appeared somewhat safe, but I did know that you had not used your Element Man SP or Element Man yet. And I still chose to take a risky play and go into Spout, giving you the opportunity to close it out right there.
I was kind of expecting the Spout too, because my last cross was Heat, so it would make sense to go Spout to try and remove my Heat, and then I would have been left with no crosses and no chips. But thankfully for me, the Element Man elect managed to connect that time.
Ooh, and you get the Erased Man, double damage and decross right on turn 1. It's going to be really good value against specifically my folder with multiple program advances sitting around.
Yeah, I do have the erase man tagged, so it is more likely to show up earlier.
Yeah, that is an interesting tech. I don't think I'm not sure if anyone has used that before you, so
Yeah, it's the only cursor I have in my folder, so I wanted to make sure it would at least show up.
that was a really good anti-navi play from Science there. I even sacrificed some of my health there, stepping into the charge shot to try to get that to connect, but
Yeah, and this seems pretty rough for you without Dust Cross because you have all these specific, like the white pill's not useful at all right now without the Super Vulcan, so it's just there taking space in your hand.
yeah, for sure, my folder is a bit alphabet soupy. And not even that, but just even the star-coded chips. It's really hard to use them by themselves and get good value out of them.
Yeah, it's basically when you ask why I'm not running the Gundel Soul to go with Q-Force in my folder, it's basically that exact problem.
Looks like the issue came up again. Try to fix that quickly. Apologies. I'm not really sure why this is happening today. Apologies again for the
But yeah, for sure, with Cust 6 especially, it's going to be really hard to get all of the pieces that you need in your hand for the full combo anyways. And just having the Gundel Soul 3 kind of floating around can clog up the rest of your folder. It
Yeah,
is something that can be beast charged as well, though.
Yeah, it can. That is some of the utility Gregor has, is that with chips like that you have the option to, instead of using them, just beast charge them. But even yours with the Coste, like we see that partial destroy pulse and the white pill is really clogging your hands as well.
Yeah, I've considered putting in a barrier 200 as well to kind of double the odds that I managed to pull a barrier in turn 1 and protect the Dust Cross. But I think that would be replacing maybe the meteors.
I've already. Apologies again for that. We're back.
And so we see here, I can't really, just barely managed to clip the Tengu with the slash charge there. But it was kind of, hard for me to confirm it with that, only the partial area and the Tengu pushing me back, but with the slash cross, it was only a matter of time before the Tengu got decrossed.
Yeah, it did come down to the wire there. Very close at end of turn. double life aura turn. And really, looks like neither of us have an answer to life aura, so we're both just gonna be sitting here for this whole turn.
And with your Tengu gone, you have no wind. Oh, that's... Yeah, so you have this Destroy Pulse now, but...
Yeah, you can see that I have this Destroy Pulse, but it is kind of a waste of 3 chips at this point, because there's no way for me to actually connect it. I'm just gonna have to throw it into your life aura. Ooh. So I guess the upside is that it does do enough damage to break the life aura even through Holy Aura.
I tried to step under that Poison Seed there, but I was just a little bit too slow. And see here I didn't realize that you had no more chips, so I was kind of worried about the ground beast charge there.
Yeah, I kind of realized that I was gonna give it away if I just bustered, so after a certain point I kind of just stood there and tried to line up with you in the hopes that you wouldn't call my bluff. But it does look like you stepped up at the very end and just went, well, the risk might be worth it.
Yeah, and I also have a very cursed amount of HP, the 1666.
Yeah, this looks like end of this set then, right here. Taking the double damage, heat charge shots. Yeah, well played, Symes. Just overall solid play, I think.
Yeah. After what happened in the pool set, I knew I needed to I guess just change my game plan a little bit, and it was still if things had worked out a little bit differently in those games, it definitely could have gone a lot more in your favor. Especially that second round was pretty unfortunate how it worked out for you.
Oh yeah, the turn 1 losing Dust Cross was huge, so but I mean that is part of your build right there, the increased chance to get that race man.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun match though, so yeah, well played. And that's actually gonna be it for me on commentary today.
Alright, it was nice having you.
Yeah, thanks. It was definitely I think this is the first time in a while that it was me and you casting together, so
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and hope it happens again sometime soon.
yeah, hopefully, maybe even for the next stream, I guess we'll see what happens. So yeah, I think player 0 will be stepping in now. So yeah, later everyone.
Alright, see you, Symes.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
joining, Symes. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Alright, well, let's head right into the next setup discussion with player 0 vs Salad.
Ooh, so this is gonna be an interesting one. It is Falzar versus Falzar here. In fact, I think it's the first Falzar mirror matchup we're seeing today.
Oh, wow.
We've been seeing a lot of Gregar representation on the other end. And so we have talked about both setups already. The G code from player 0 got the uninstall, the juicy Groundman SP, and then the Neo variable encode of Meteor Knuckle is a Cust 8 setup. It is the standard Falzar setup, really. And then we've got A-code on Salad's side here. Really good elemental coverage. Got the beast combos, the beast rush combos coming in with the 3 elect pulse 2s and 3 wind racks. A lot of counter hit potential and ×2 damage potential. And 6 Navi chips here. Spout Man SP, Ground Man SP, Element Man SP, so a lot of potential damage coming out from those. And finally the attack plus 30 gonna be tagged onto a Risky Honey probably, and it's gonna be a really lethal potential counter right there, getting a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the matchup, it's about an even matchup, but something to keep in mind is that so on my side I had a lot less HP compared to Salad, but I did have the recovery 300, so with the build that Salad has, she might be able to basically go into Beast out very quickly and go through her Beast Rush combos that deal massive damage, maybe before even the recoveries come out, so it can be very dependent on how the early game transitions into the late game, especially seeing that I don't have any gauge control, so when Salad uses that fast gauge, we'll be stuck in that.
Yeah, that is true, and not really sure how the matchup will pan out. I do think it is fairly even here. The 2 recovery 300s, like you mentioned, what they do is they basically give you a 300 HP lead over Salad, who's taking no recovery 300s. So it's 1700 versus 1400, but after the recoveries kick in, it will be 2000 on your end. And it is a Meteor Knuckle versus Meteor Knuckle, so it's the Gigas are mirrored here.
And we see that both sides are running Rush as well, though Salad only has 2 Invisibles, which are actually very strong in fast gauge, so Salad will unfortunately have to go through without one of them. Though with that being said, she does have the extra 1 Navi, so she might be able to throw something into beat much earlier.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that normally you might think that running 2 invis here, and especially against Rush, you might think, well, that's a shame, you're going to lose one of the invis, but Salad is known for fishing for that early ×2 through anger, proccing it with a Rush, and then trying to get a ×2, maybe Spout Man SP, Ground Man SP, something heavy hitting. So really the first invis might not get that defensive value thanks to the Rush, but it might actually just serve to be a ×2 bonus for Salad's next offensive chip.
And Invis can always be used in a time freeze counter to ensure it goes through, so especially when Salad only has 2 of them, she doesn't have to worry about throwing one of them if she can just time it to be a TFC in both times.
Yeah, so it should be an interesting, very interesting matchup here, and I can't wait to see it.
Alright, let's head into the matchup, see how it goes.
Ooh, and another double VOD here. Salad on the right side, player 0 on the left.
So now we can see how both sides are starting. So Salad has few different codes in hand: Life Aura, Elements Man SP, Grab Revenge, and some of the A code chips. Ooh, starting with the beast right away and then only having the fast gauge.
Ooh, so it will be Element Fire. The only way to connect from that position. Player 0 ending up with a small area advantage here. Shuffling away the Neo variable. Ending up with the Meteor Knuckles. Okay, so this will be a Bubble Star and Machine Gun, trying to decross Salad here.
We see on Salad's side, she already has some of the potential combo pieces for Beast Rush turn, but she decides to go with that Life Aura this turn just to play out, see how it goes, and maybe bait a Tengu.
So very interesting here. Player 0 is going to opt to hold on to his current hand and go into Tengu to try to backbeat the Life Aura away so that he can try to confirm this bubble star into machine gun.
Yeah, so
The other option
Mm.
would have been to go into spout to ×2 charge the bubble star.
in that position, I was debating going into Tengu Cross because I was worried that Salt might have that one Aqua Sword, which she did indeed have it, so the risk didn't work out in the end.
Yeah, that was a very tough position for you to be in because basically whether you went into Aqua or to Tengu, both of those had the potential to get rid of the life aura. They both are also at risk. They're both being threatened by Salad's chip choices. So now she still has the Wind Rack. Oh, but loses it to the Reflector.
The Reflector blocking 3 chips, I believe. The Elect Dragon, Elect Pulse, and I think a Wind Rack as well.
So a lot of value there in that Reflector.
Now we see both sides trying to look through their hands. Salad does have that full cast, but she wants to keep maybe that last beast turn to try to apply a bit more pressure at the end, though she doesn't have that many chips to try to use Beast Rush with. Maybe chip charging that fast gauge. Ooh.
Oh! So the Wind Rack got interrupted even right there, so the Barrier 200 still in play for player 0.
The Invis didn't end up going through from Salad. That was really unfortunate. She could have proc Rush at the end there. And now we see that Salad's thinking about taking that full cast maybe with something else just to try to waste one of the beast stands. Ooh, Grab Revenge. I believe the Grab Revenge would be enough to remove that barrier 200 and push back, so that could be good. But we see the anti-damage TFC, which let's see if it gets spent on it. Okay, it does. Oh, so ending up not using that second invis. I think that might have been in missed input, and then not even using that at the end of turn, which might be a better play at this point, just to try to bluff waiting out the invis.
A lot of damage sitting in Salad's hand right here. A lot of heavy hitting chips just waiting to be used. But player 0 does drop this anti-damage invis combo. And right here, Erase Man will pierce through this anti-damage, destroying it and paralyzing Salad. But also, player 0 can no longer step back without giving up this area. He's gonna have to use his area grab to regain it.
That chip
×2 charging.
Yeah.
That Wood Dragon.
Now
Salad really getting walled out by this defense here.
Both sides have quite a lot of HP, though both sides still have a lot of damage still waiting. So looking at taking that Groundman SP and the full cost just to move the turn through.
Player 0 opting for the double recovery 300 turn right here. Ooh.
Ooh, that will be very painful. Is that enough though?
Oh, almost.
Ooh, not quite. Back to 1 HP. And the full cost though, one of the recovery 300s do come out. So this will protect against mashed Eraseman, but it can be followed up with bees as well, so this is still definitely very close.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for player 0 here. Gonna opt to keep the hand, try to go for this recovery 300. The Erase Man not managing to connect. Judge Man gonna take down this anti-damage.
Beats coming out at an anti-navi at the end of turn, though it doesn't look like there are any navis left on my hand, so unfortunately that will be there mostly as a bluff.
Very difficult situation here for Salad. It is unlikely that the Meteor Knuckles will do enough damage.
Yeah, especially against this much defense.
Yeah, the Invis coming out here. Ooh, Life Aura. So the Invis gets tossed.
Area grab coming down to give that info, and Sol trying to position away from potential Neovari coming out. And now she has to go into Tengu. Or maybe keeping the Element Man SP. It's definitely a rough decision.
Yeah, so player 0's own Meteor Knuckle about to come through.
Ooh, and that Meteor Knuckles will be there from maximum number of hits, so that will be more than enough to finish off game 1. Now heading into game 2, starting with Cubes field and Ice on the field, so very likely that both sides will go into Dust to try to take advantage of these cubes. Ooh, but we do see these Pulse Windrak starter chips already showing up in Salad's hand, so she might end up going for the combo, and maybe we'll see Aqua Sword freezing with all of this, all of these ice panels. Ooh, nice.
Oh!
And one of the cubes does connect, though that will be exchanged by the Groundman SP also connecting from the other side. Now Rush proccing at the very end of turn. Let's see if Salad has time to fire that cube. Ooh, does fire, but is it going to connect? Ooh, looks like Salad is going for that beast out turn. She does have a lot of the combo pieces, and actually maybe the Pulse 2 will make that cube connect. I'm not really sure how this could play out. Ooh. So we saw there was the drag on Pulse extends through ice panels, so that led to some collision happening at the end there, which I think ended up wasting some of the damage for Salad.
So we see Salad getting decrossed end of turn here by the Erase Man, losing Dust Beast, but
Yeah, and that
might
miss
end up
on
going
Element
to
Man
block
was
one.
actually really close, because if the Element Man had procced, then Salad would still be in anti-damage animation, which would extend into the next turn. Ooh, Salad losing losing an
I believe
average
that was just
beat.
an Element Man. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was simply an intentional toss. It was simply an Element Man, so...
That life or staying in hand at the end of turn. I think I meant to use that before the turn ends. But now that it's still there, there is still the decision of deciding to keep that or go for new hand, especially seeing how Salad has plenty of Windraks in the folder. Elec Pulse into the Windrak, and everything connects from Salad. Salad has very big lead so far, and the Life Aura as well, though she did use her only Tengu D-Cross in folder.
So player 0 does have the double recovery 300s in hand, and a very nice defensive turn here.
Ooh,
Oh,
that was really unfortunate, TFC. So in this match, I believe Sald was the host, which meant that the Windrak there wouldn't push with Life Aura being on. So unfortunately, Sald wasn't able to regain her area back, which can be very bad, especially seeing how my folder relies on the huge damage from Meteor Knuckles. So does still have that Judgment in hand, but the only way she can push to regain the area is Tengu, so she is still risking a very painful D-Cross. Just thinking through the turn, seeing there's a lot of options in this hand, so it's very difficult decision on which way to go.
opting for the ×2 with Dragon, potentially? Or maybe not.
Ooh, the unfortunate miss on the Elec Pulse too, which will mean this Spout Speed will also miss. Judgment coming out. Then I decided to keep the same hand. I do have an anti-damage at the very start, so I was keeping that to be cautious of maybe an Element Man SP or a Fire Hit, which Sol does have both of them, so this can be a very painful turn depending on how it goes. This is still a very close match. Bees plus 30 with Tomahawk is very painful. The Fire Hit can be very painful as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that Salad could potentially punish you with here. Anti-damage can give you a bit of breathing room.
Ooh, the Ember is lasting a bit too long. Unfortunately, Salad had to throw away these bees early, trying to block some of these machine gun hits.
You see Salad's hand being very awkward to play through here.
And I believe Salad's down to her last 6 chips, so this match is very close so far. Ooh, the cross and spout will stop the sliding from ice panels. The Neovar does connect into the Meteor Knuckles, which looks like that will be enough for game.
Yeah, unfortunately, Salad ended up on the back foot there in terms of the area control for both of those matches here. And that really allowed player 0 to squeeze in those max damage Meteor Knuckles, to really play aggressively with his own Tengu and Neo Variable, and also almost really guaranteeing stuff like the machine gun hits and the dragons as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we did see some unfortunate interactions for Salad, like these two, the two Invises having to be thrown away, and that grab revenge failing because of that life aura. So this was definitely, this matchup could have ended up very differently if these things had panned out.
Yeah, definitely. It could have ended up going either way for sure. It was very close, and you can see that a lot of the defense was just being squeezed out turn after turn,
Yeah.
especially under the fast gauge. you could really see that whoever let their defense down in those brief windows was definitely getting punished very hard for it. And yeah, it was a very tense matchup right there. Well played to both players there.
Yeah, well played. Alright, so before we head into our next match, we're just going to be taking a very quick break while we prepare everything um, and yeah, so we're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned. We still have more matches coming back after the short break. Okay, so now we're ready to continue. But before we do, I'm just going to briefly give a run through of how the bracket is going so far and where we might be. Okay, so the bracket was, as mentioned earlier, divided into two sides, winners and losers side. So looking here, you can see on this is the winner's side of the bracket so far. So um, we're up to the winners finals, which will be Sims vs Player Zero. However, we won't be showing that on this stream. For now, we will be moving into the losers side of the bracket, where we haven't shown pretty much any matches so far. Okay, so from looking at the setup, you can see that we still have a long list of matches, though. However, unfortunately, we won't be able to show all of them, um, obviously due to time and other reasons as well. So we will be going through some of these matches, and we will see by the end where people end up in the bracket. So going to be starting with our first match is Bitmuffin vs TN Cargill.
So taking a look at their setups here, Bitmuffin is running the classic Falzar setup. It's got the Cust 8, attack 4, 1400 HP, beat rush, super armor, all the good stuff. TN Cargill, on the other hand, running something that's really more of a classic Gregar setup. Very similar, just swapping out the Cust 2 for air shoes basically, and getting the attack max instead of attack 4. Is missing beat compared to the Falzar setup, but the value from air shoes can't be underestimated.
Yeah, and we see that that B code from TN Cargill, which is actually a very strong code in both Falzar and Gregar.
Yeah, B code particularly strong against Falzar players because the SP Navis will do double damage against common Falzar crosses, Tengu and Tomahawk, both very powerful crosses. We'll have to watch out for the ×2 damage in D-Cross from Blastman SP and Protoman SP.
And we see Bitmuffin, they are running two risky honeys, they are running these Illic pulses, so this is somewhat similar to the build we've seen from Salad, but it has a lot of different components. For example, Bitmuffin, they're missing more of these wind drags, they have Aqua Needle. Actually, are these the components for Mastercross PA?
Yeah, so that is hype. We'll see whether or not Mastercross shows its face here. And yeah, Bitmuffin got a bit more of the focus on this Aqua Needle, potential Aqua Needle ×2 with the white capsule attached to it. Will be very painful for their opponent.
Oh, actually, as Bitmuffin's saying in chat, the Illic Pulse 3 is missing. So this isn't quite that Mastercross.
Okay, so it's a Master almost cross, I guess. Not quite Master Cross. Okay, so Bitmuffin not running Master Cross, choosing to forego the Pulse 3, going for the Pulse 2. More combo setup, doesn't set the opponent to blink or flinch. And you got the drag effect, so.
Yeah, we do see that follow up for the drag with Aqua Sword, maybe even Aqua Needle, though I don't think it gives time for charging that 2x, even though the chip charge in Beast Out is very quick.
Yeah, definitely. Regardless of whether or not you follow it up, it just can be very strong for breaking charges, right? Interrupting your opponent, especially if it's a lengthy charge like Bug Depth Thunder or Beast charges, particularly Erase Beast and such. can be very powerful to just pull them out of the charge.
Yeah. On the other side from Tian Cargill, we see they also have that Dull Thunder 3, though only one of them, but this can be very, very painful if that connects on Spatcross.
Yeah, definitely the potential Dull Thunder 3 just landing would be a ton of damage. I believe with Elec Cross as well, it would be 460 if it lands on Spout.
Yeah, though, that being said, we don't see Tian Cargill running any gauge chips, whereas Bitmuffin, they're running one fast gauge.
Yeah, and it is regged as well, so Bitmuffin will have the option of popping that fast gauge, maybe limiting the amount of buster damage Tian Cargill will be able to pull out. But as we mentioned before, B code is a lot of damage, so even without a normal gauge turns, Tian Cargill should be able to trade out a lot of damage using the chips.
Obviously, we also see that Giga being Q-Force and 5 area grabs, so we might actually see a max area Q-Force coming out, especially that Bitmuffin doesn't have as much retaliation against area grabs.
Yeah, that is true. Bitmuffin only has the 2 area grabs, and I believe no banish or revenge, so it will be tough if Bitmuffin cedes too much area to Tian Cargill.
We do see 2 judgments, so they can try to even out the area grab battle, as one might say.
That is true as well. There will be no effective way to force them back after the judge, other than the 1 wind rack and possibly the Tengu charge shots, which can be risky if your opponent is in Slash or has a Proto Man SP still available. So we'll see how the area game plays out.
Alright, well, I believe that was mostly everything. Let's head into the match, see how it plays out. And we see both they are starting in cube fields, so going into that Dust Cross is very tempting, however it can be very risky against the 4 machine guns that Tian Cargill has.
Yeah, those machine gun 3s will be very painful, particularly if it's a Erase Cross.
There is the Invis, which could potentially help against machine gun. However, we have to keep in mind that Tian Cargill is also running Rush, and Bitmuffin is missing on that first barrier. So this is a very difficult decision to try to do.
Yeah, is the risk worth the reward here?
One potential play that Bitmuffin can try to go for is using that rush to try to get anger, and maybe next turn crossing into dust or using that for something else.
Personally, when I see rock cubes in this formation, I actually really want to go into Tengu and just rack them into the back.
Ooh. Tian Cargill is going into Slash Cross, which can be very risky, but that could be an indicator that they have these machine guns ready for quick decross.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh no, missing that race, man. Let's see.
A raise would have been... That would have been a guaranteed 400 for the follow-up. Oh no, and the cube misses!
That's really unfortunate. Missing on that cube was very unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, that could have been a 400 damage plus a decross. Might have been a lot safer to step up, get the guaranteed Erase Man into the rock cube. It would be very difficult for Tian Cargill to avoid Erase when it's being fired from the center and the front like that.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, now we see Bitmuffin having that life or Judgment as well, deciding what they want to do. They still have the paralysis from Rush, so maybe a cross cancel as well will be coming out. Okay, looks
Tien
like
Cargo might not want to stay in Slash, even with this partial +1 area. Chooses to stay, but not going to get too much value against this Life Aura, I believe.
Ooh, getting coming out though wouldn't do much again against the Beast out. Unfortunately, Judgment needs to spawn the bugs, but they don't spawn on broken panels, so the area isn't going to change hands anytime soon.
It might not have been too big a loss to just toss the Judgman. Mainly because Tien Cargo does not have recovery 300s or anything, so the HP that you see is the HP that you get. And with the amount of damage that both of these players can put out, might not need to hang on to every single chip, especially just the 100 or so damage from Judgman.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and now we see that Bitmuffin is looking through their hand, trying to decide what they might to throw into the back of their folder, what they want to keep and use straight away. Ooh, looks like these aqua chips are going back, so maybe we'll see a big spout turn near the end of the game. The Elect Pulse too, maybe Bitmuffin is trying to go for a counter hit on the one wind rack that Tien Cargo has, so this could potentially be a big play, especially with an anti-Navi that could block something like a Blastman SP. Ooh, the wind rack is coming out, let's see if there's enough time to block it. Ah, not quite, unfortunately.
Ooh. But the 2 Bs land.
Ooh, and Beat will eat something from Tien Cargo. Let's hope that wasn't something important like the Blastman or Protoman SP.
Okay, so Tien Cargo knows that this is the anti-Navi now. It will make Tien Cargo think twice about trying to use Protoman SP or Blastman SP. He's gonna have to toss something into this anti-Navi first, or destroy it with machine guns.
Yeah, and I think Tien Cargo still has at least 2 machine guns in the folder. I believe we've already seen one. I'm not sure about the others though. Yeah, as Ray is saying in chat, that there is a lot of damage potential that could be coming out. There is the Spartan SP with A code, there is that base anomaly, and maybe Judgment with the wind rack to regain area. Ooh, another air grab coming down, so is this going to be that Q4 style? Maybe in that position, Bitmuffin could have chip charged that last area grab, maybe broken some of the panels Tien Cargo had. That could give more value, and that Q-Force does come out near the end of turn. But now Bitmuffin has the option to cross cancel into Tomahawk, and we see these Bs and that plus 30, so this might be a very big turn coming up.
I do believe we have not seen Blastman SP yet from Tien Cargo, so while this could be a big counter turn for Bitmuffin with a lot of Bs coming out, it could also be a very painful D-cross potential for Tien Cargo onto Bitmuffin as well.
Yeah, Bitmuffin does have the other option of going with base anomaly plus 30, trying to bait that on a TFC, though I don't think that's the correct play, especially seeing how they have the Elec Pulse 2 and Spout SP in case of a D-Cross as well.
Team Cargill chose not to cross cancel.
Nothing going through it. Not sure if they meant to go for Elec, but these bees will do a lot of damage.
Oh, and Team Cargill did not have any defense left after that.
That Spout
It's
managed
close
to
down.
finish off, yeah.
So we see ice cubes this time, rather than rock cubes. And it is a forward field being frozen, so... It's quite interesting starting with the ice panels like this. There's a lot of potential defensive application.
Yeah, so Muffin does have quite a number of options. We might see bees, we might see the wind rack. But we'll see how Tian Kager plays it on the other side.
Oh, this could be bad.
That-
Double area grab, negating each other.
And yeah, there goes the machine gun with the plus 30. Ooh, and the I believe High Boom will connect as well.
A lot of damage connecting onto Bitmuffin here. Team Cargo also popping Rush.
Muffin waiting until the end of turn before using the invis, trying to cross cancel.
Bitmuffin thinking about Beast this turn. Possibly to try and get a D-Cross with the Wind Rack.
Yeah. Though there is no Elec Pulse 2 to try to confirm that.
Another option would have been to try to fish for the confirm from the erase, but Proto Man SP gonna land here. Bitmuffin down to 500 HP.
Oh, nice.
Oh! Double hit from the Tengu Man, gonna connect onto Bitmuffin. The fire hit misses, but landing that D-Cross was very good. And now Tian Cargo is in the starting frames for this Machine Gun 3. This could be very exploitable if Tian Cargo does not cross-cancel or beast.
Yeah, and especially seeing how Bitmuffin has these bees as well, though they have to be careful about trying to to counter themselves in bees animation. So it looks like that wasn't the play.
I'd be very surprised if Tian Cargo did not cancel this machine gun.
That would definitely be very greedy, especially seeing how they typically want to go into crosses trying to apply the extra pressure, maybe the extra damage from Elec or fire chips.
Ooh, and here's the beast.
We're seeing Q-Force coming out. There is that life aura, though a wind rack could be coming as well on the other side to try to counter it. But the invis will last for more than a turn, so... Ooh, nice!
Oh! So we saw that interaction there. Bitmuffin managed to step into Tian Cargo, so the wind rack did not hit the life aura. That is a very, very tough position for Tian Cargo now. They only have one wind rack in their folder.
Yeah,
They will have to sacrifice something in order to take down this Life Aura.
One of the things they could sacrifice is a Blastman SP, but the anti-Navi might make that impossible. And there it goes, is that? And
Now the HP, very evenly matched, only 15 apart.
yeah.
Still a lot of defense on Bitmuffin. Both players putting up anti-damage end of turn, but Bitmuffin has this additional layer of the Life Aura to protect.
Yeah. Oh, and Bitmuffin at the end of turn there was on the fixed hole when they stepped back, which you typically don't want to do with Geddon, because if you gain air shoes through Tengu or Beast Out and then step on broken panels, you can keep walking on top of them until you step into a fixed panel. So now,
This
yeah.
space anomaly will not be playable with the field like this, but there's plenty of offensive chips still open for Bitmuffin.
Yeah, and Tian Kaggle, I believe the only way they have out of that Life Aura is Dull Thunder and Electros, which is a very position to be in. Ooh, that White Castle.
Tian Cargill's own Life Aura not gonna get any value there.
Ooh, this will be a big turn either way. We might see Spout Cross combos coming out, or Base Anomaly finishing off the game as getting just fixed. Bitmuffin did use the White Capsule already, so using Aqua Needle here wouldn't be ideal, as it would apply flashing and wouldn't be quite enough damage.
This is the optimal range for the base anomaly here. Using it in the center will connect regardless of your opponent's position. The 4 pound range. Oh,
Beast Over is coming out, though we know that's in B code because of the grab banish. I'm not really sure what options they have. Actually, since they had a fire hit, they could have tried to go for hit cross and get the plus 50 with that to remove that Life Aura.
that is true. Even Charge Cross would have been able to do it, albeit slowly.
Yeah, though I think they might be running a bit low on chips. Unfortunately, that TFC with anti-damage will mean that this base anomaly is going to be confirmed unless they have other defense. Ooh, Q4's not doing anything, and yeah, there it goes.
Base anomaly closes out the game.
I'm sure Sol will be very proud when he sees this match afterwards.
Yeah, and that was a double Giga turn too, so the Q-Force and the base anomaly being dropped at the same time. Well played to both players there.
Yeah, that was a really close matchup. It was a bit unfortunate at the end there with Tian Cargill missing that wind rack, but it was also very well played from Bitmuffin. Their movement allowed them to avoid that and basically turned the matchup to their favor.
Yeah, definitely Tian Cargill still had some options available to get rid of the Life Aura, but they were by no means guaranteed. So a tough matchup, a tough set, but well played to both players.
And yeah, so that was in loser's side, so that means any match loss we see here will unfortunately mean that one of the players will have to be out of the tournament. So yeah, thank you for Tian Cargill for joining, and for anyone else that we might see being knocked out during this stream. Alright, so now we will be heading into our next match with Zay vs T-Chomp.
So both of them are fairly new players, and you can see that their setups are very interesting. Zay has this air spin combo all set up and ready to go.
And yeah, so as you've said, they both were relatively they both started playing relatively recently, and I believe they started at around the same time and were playing against each other quite a bit as well. So this will definitely be an interesting matchup. Yeah, so we see that air spin. I believe we've already seen air spin going full swing in the round robin stream. So we will see if Zay is able to connect that and go all the way again. But we also see these very strong SP navis that are often underused in Tomahawk Man SP and Tengu Man SP.
Yeah, Tomahawk Man SP and Tengu Man SP, both very strong Navi chips. Tengu does 160, potentially 2 hits of it, and Tomahawk Man does a single swing of, I believe, 280. And so the elemental coverage from Tomahawk Man is very good because it is actually both wood and sword at the same time. So it will decross and do double damage to both Tengu and Elec. So it has utility there against both versions. Tengu Man SP, a very painful check against Erase Beast in particular. And also very useful for taking down Life Aura, and also potentially taking down an anti-damage at the same time.
Yeah, and this is going to be a Falzar vs Gregar matchup, so T-Chomp might end up feeling that very painful decross from Tengu or Tomahawk, especially when Tomahawk doesn't even flash, so it allows for a lot of combos to follow up as well.
Yeah, definitely undervalued chips, I believe. It can be a bit rough to deal with the fact that they are in T-code, but they are in code for Zay's Airspin folder, so this will be interesting to see. And I believe we've seen on T-Chomp's side the Delta Ray and the Voodoo Doll, Elec Man SP, as well as the Dust Pulse.
Yes.
So I don't believe we've seen Voodoo Doll Dust Pulse connect in a way where it will do the 800 damage total. I don't believe we've seen that yet, but that is always a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, though personally, my dream for this matchup is to see Delta Ray connecting on that Beedle, even though it will still do one hit. It can be a very good way to bait your opponent into the perfect positioning.
Yeah, that is true. And so I do believe that should be it. They have 1700 HP versus 1450, but they have the recovery 300s coming out on T-Chomp's side to even it back out. So other than that, I don't believe either player is running gauges, so it will be a normal gauge matchup.
T-Chomp is running the recovery 300s as well, so he does have a bit more HP to try to compensate, but a bit less defense with 2 anti-damage and 2 invids.
Alright, well, I think that's it, and I think we could hop into the set now.
Let's see how it goes. So one thing just to keep in mind while going through the match is that I believe there was quite a bit of lag between them when they played, so just something to keep in mind. While lag isn't everything in the matchups, they do tend to affect in especially lag sensitive folders.
Ooh, turn 1 Life Aura from T-Chomp.
Ooh, this is actually very similar to the start what we saw last game, but this time the cube does connect with a counter hit.
And that was a very quick punish for that aggressive slash cross play. 1 cube destroys the Life Aura, Bubble Star locks T-Chomp down, and then the second cube for the decross and 400 damage. But that was for sure probably quite demoralizing, losing one of your stronger offensive crosses and not being able to make use of this area advantage anymore. Oh, Judge Man comes out.
do you see Electros with Electpulse too? Ooh, okay. So that is an interesting play, seeing Electpulses, but that...
Oh! That air spin was that resulted in a counter hit because T-Chomp was trying to release, I believe, a charge shot at the same time. This will be a very rough position for T-Chomp now. They're gonna have to either cross or beast in order to cancel this paralysis.
But now we see area grabs coming out from Zay, so we might be seeing Tomahawk chip charge as well.
Ooh, so that would have been actually a good or an advantageous time freeze for Zay right there, so let's just let that progress. Ooh, and now unable to get this area lock.
I think that was only one hit from...
Oh no, and not releasing the Element Man either. Could have still gone for that 200 damage decross.
Ooh, but now we see the potential for Wood Dragon times 2 decross followed by a Tornado, so we might be seeing the elemental advantage coming as well. Ooh, let's see.
Will T-Chomp be able to dodge this?
Ooh, doesn't look like it, and that does connect with the decross as well. Ooh, but now Element Man coming out from T-Chomp doing the decross as well. Both sides decrossing each other and doing massive damage. So 10 HP is going to be very rough to try to come back from, and yeah, that ends with that turn.
Yeah, you see so much damage, especially decrosses and ×2 damage coming out from both sides. And you can see how this is such a volatile matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Both sides still had a lot more damage to come. I don't think we saw the Vidal Elecman combo coming out that last turn. That last game, I mean.
Oh, so can Zay dodge this?
Ooh, that was a bit close in terms of movement. The second targeting of machine gun might connect, but we'll see if they decide to cross cancel.
Yeah, it looks very close. I'm not sure if Zay can buffer a movement forward to dodge it, or just try to mash out the life aura, but it's so close that it might not work out. Ooh, there it is.
Yeah, that was actually really close. So in position there, if Zay was slightly slower on that life aura, they could have potentially lost that to a decross eating their chip in.
Oh no! T-Chomp misses the Element Man SP, did not mash hard enough to get the fire out in time.
Now with the area, there are less grass panels, so yeah, these chip charges won't have any chance at removing.
Yeah, this life aura is gonna be a problem here. We'll see if T-Chomp can pull a response to it in time.
Unfortunately missing that decross. But there is the Alekman combo does come out as well with that Vidal.
Ooh, that is a lot of damage.
And the curse coming out as well, yeah, so both sides did manage to bring out their full combo. Z last game and now T-Chomp.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate situation for Zay just now. needed to really get rid of that anti-damage first before throwing out the Bubble Star. Double area grabs, gonna come out neutral here.
Ooh.
Oh, Delta Ray Edge is gonna connect the full damage.
And Raceman follow-up as well. This is a really big turn for T-Chomp. Let's see if they have any follow-up. If they have something to chip charge, then that will definitely be a very big overkill, though they still need to go through the undershot. And yeah, there it goes. Is that Buster Shot coming out? And it does. Going on to game 3, so we see that Zay is starting with that full cost straight away, maybe scouting what T-Chomp is going for, and keeping their dust alive just for a bit more dust digging. Ooh. So we do see that T-Chomp was able to mash out 2 area grabs into an anti-damage before that full cost come out.
If Zay can pull Erase here, it would be... We're actually already sitting on it? No, that is Judge, so... No effective way to deal with that anti-damage, we just have to throw a chip into it at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as people have pointed out in chat, that this field is very unfortunate for T-Chomp trying to land their Delta Ray Edge.
And, well, it also seems a little bit hard for the airspin combos as well. Life Aura coming through. This is going to be a very hard turn for Zay, I think.
No way to deal with that Life Aura on top of the defense and having to just eat these B crosses for free basically.
Squeezing in that charge shot at the very end, it will crack this center panel, and T-Chomp does not have air shoes, so they will have to be careful stepping up.
They did lose that Wood Dragon, which is actually very bad because they do have Heat Dragon that could potentially be used, but they are going into Tengu either way.
These super holes are also going to prevent a total lock for Tengu.
Ooh, Destroy Pulse will have to miss, and that D-Cross with anti-damage was a bit unfortunate. This is looking a bit like an uphill battle for T-Chomp for Zay to try to come back, but we do see that tornado combo with the air spin combo with 2 tornadoes. I think this might actually be enough damage to finish off the game in one turn.
Yeah, if Zay can land this will be a lot to take in.
Ooh, but there is that V-Doll coming out. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. Yeah. Oh no, and the D-Cross as well. Even after all of that damage that Zay was able to do, T-Chomp uses his Mega Chip, which will do a lot of damage in return, and at this HP it's looking very rough for Zay. Ooh, nice. The Raceman will connect, just waiting it out for the confirmed timeout. Damage into that machine gun, doing some damage, not too bad. Judgman will unfortunately remove the anti-damage from Zay's side. Ooh, anti-damage coming out from T-Chomp. And Boomer connects into a machine gun. Is that going to be enough? Not quite. Electric Pulse 1 misses.
Ooh, this could very easily be a win for Zay here.
If the Tomahawk SP connects, that's more than enough damage to bring down to 1 HP. Ooh, recovery do come up. That will still be a lot of damage if it connects. Oh no.
Oh no, Zay firing everything off a little bit early.
Yeah, in that position, ideally you want to try to get a buster shot to try to deal with the anti-damage, then maybe going for your hard-hitting chips. But that really didn't pan out, and then anti-damage connecting into a buster shot will finish off that game. That was a really unfortunate sequence at the end there for Zay. That was definitely doable, but on top of the recovery, made it very difficult as well.
Yeah, definitely a tough matchup, a tough set right there. Well played to both players. I do believe, yeah, T-Chomp did buster right through the air spin, but that's just very unfortunate that Zay did not have white capsules on hand,
Yeah.
because that would completely remove that possibility. T-Chomp was really fighting against not really the optimal air spin combo there. It did have the 2 tornadoes to feed into it, but it just didn't have the white capsule to lock T-Chomp down. Otherwise, I think it would have been a different story.
Yeah, that damage does add up. Air spins do take damage, so if you deal too much damage to them, for example, by I believe using 2 tornadoes and Tengu Cross adds up to be just enough to destroy it before dealing the maximum amount. So it is something to keep in mind that your opponent always has that as an out. But yeah, well played to both sides, and now we will be heading into our final match for this stream, which will be Bitmuffin vs Enduring Grey. Okay, so I believe we've seen both sides play already. Actually, have we seen Grey this stream?
I don't believe we've seen Ray this stream, no, but obviously we've seen them in the round robin. And this is I'm very excited to watch this one. You can see the A code coming up for Bitmuffin, of course, with the Aqua Needle 3. The white capsuled, most likely going to be white capsuled Aqua Needle 3, and the not quite Master Cross, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen this setup, and this will be Falzar versus Falzar, because Ray on the other side is running this 1900 HP, no buster stats setup, but it has built-in air shoes, so it really is not affected by Geddon at all. Unfortunately, there is no Geddon in play here, and there isn't too much panel cracking going on from Bitmuffin's side.
And we do see another, so Enduring Grey decide to go for that bug build for that static that we see, and another air spin, so maybe we will see another full air spin going through, but with static this time should be quite a bit easier to land as well.
Yes, that is true, and the static damage does compound onto the air spin combo, so it is extremely painful.
And there is also that plus 30, so on either static or the air spin can be devastating as well.
Yeah, I'm very hyped for this match, and can't wait to see it.
Yeah, well, let's head right into it. I'm sure Sol would be very proud, both players playing base anomaly as well. Alright, here we go into our final match for the stream.
And so another double VOD to top things off. Have Enduring Ray on the right, Bitmuffin on the left.
Ooh, and we do see that cube field that we've seen already plenty of times during the stream, but this time neither of them, I believe, have the D-cross for that turn 1 dust cross.
Yeah, so this will be a straight up competition to see who can back B first and get the cubes.
And while that might be the case, one of them might be able to use that as an option to try to land something extra. Maybe Bitmuffin going for a fire hit confirm basically, or using that with Element Man Wood into that fire hit while that back B animation is going.
Yeah, the potential is there, but
Ooh.
looks like Bitmuffin chose to lock no chips, just go for the back B and gets it, so 2 cubes now being held.
Oh wow, so Bismuth might have expected that full cost to come out from Enduring Grey, and that prediction ended up working out very well. Oh, and yeah, as Ray is saying in chat, that we do see they have that confuse as well, which can be confusing to try to play around. Bismuth having quite a number of options as well. We might have bees or Spatman SP, though decides to go just for these bees. Ooh, cube
no,
right
just
into
cube.
the face, yeah. Unfortunately, second one misses, and the airspin gets destroyed by collision as well.
Yeah, that is the risk of that point blank airspin right there. Although the panel here is now cracked as well.
Ooh, we still see on Enduring Grey's side the airspin into static again. So the area, I believe, enables that pretty well. But that being said, Bitmuffin is in Dustcross, and Dustcross can just use back B to take in the airspin even mid-throw.
Both players thinking through thinking through their options right now. Both of them managing to stay in dust here, not having the chips in hand to cross each other.
Ooh, and looks like Enduring Grey decided to go with the Life Aura, which I don't think Bitmuffin has anything to try to counter that, so Bitmuffin might have to throw away a few chips into that. Ooh, that Judgment will connect. Unfortunately, the TFC order wasn't quite right, and Enduring Grey doesn't want to throw away the Invis into it. Waiting on that TFC for the light arrow just before the turn ends, and there it is. Air grab coming down from Bitmuffin, which will give them some movement. Ooh, but now stepping back, unfortunately Enduring Grey broke that panel over there, so the airspin will not be able to connect. Ooh, we do see that Enduring Grey decides to go with that combo regardless, and there is the Erase Man as well to try to confirm and remove that trap. Bitmuffin is thinking through the turn. They do have quite a number of options, and they have to unfortunately go into Tengu, as basically they're on the way to deal with Life Aura this turn. Let's see how the turn plays out. Ooh, Beat will eat, I believe, a Judge Man, but there is still an Erase Man followed up. But that goes into an Anti-Navi, which will go into that Life Aura, or actually will be denied by the hull. Ooh.
Oh
So
no, but the decross and the interrupt for this.
that will still continue, but unfortunately because Raid didn't have anything else to try to paralyze, Bitmuffin can just step out of that full combo.
Both players ending up paralyzed at the front there.
That was a very close turn over there, both sides having about 11 HP difference. So this match is still very close, but both of them are running out of chips. Well, Bitmuffin, that being said, Bitmuffin still has a lot of their big combos. We do see the full Aqua Needle with White Capsule plus 30 in hand, Base Anomaly and Bees as well.
You know, seeing and during Ray's hand, what I really want to do is just take the area grab and step forward as Tomahawk and just start chopping on this turn. We managed to get rid of this Tengu Cross as well,
No.
but ooh, the combo.
Pause through for a bit of interruption, though that D-cross was really painful for Enduring Grey. And seems like in chat Enduring Grey is saying that they were expecting a life aura to come out that turn, so they went into Tengu to get that raid on it, but unfortunately it didn't quite pan out. Ooh, Bitmuffin is going into Spout, so we might be able to see the Aqua Needle with that White Capsule as well, doing massive damage potentially, though without the plus 30.
The plus 30 does get, I believe it does get more damage on Risky Honey, so anti-damage coming out on both sides, I believe.
Yeah, ooh. Oh no!
Oh!
So what happened there is that the anti-damage was extended by the static animation, which meant that by the time Fire Hit was used from Enduring Grey, Bitmuffin were still in mid anti-damage animation, which gives invulnerability, so that fully missed. But now we see Bitmuffin is deciding to go for a bit more of a defensive turn, taking Invis into Life Aura. Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately that wasn't quite the ideal positioning either way for Base Anomaly. Could have done a bit of damage, wasn't quite enough. Judgment will regain the area.
Yeah, reclaiming this area here, getting a little bit of damage through the books.
And now there is that Life Aura. Let's see if Prey has any immediate outs. And it doesn't look like it. They've already used both statics, air spins, and that Tengu Cross as well.
Yeah, remember if you're sitting there watching this at home, always remember to keep an out for Life Aura. You do not want to get walled by it.
Yeah, we already saw that happen somewhat for Tian Kagura in the previous match, and now we see that happening again. Now Bitmuffin trying to be careful. They're probably not really sure what else Ray still has in the folder. But there are very high damaging, so I think B's plus 30 is more than enough if charged. Or even just that base anomaly alone is also enough.
Yeah, it's simply a matter of time here for Bitmuffin, trying to think about the optimal way to close this out and try to finish Enduring Ray.
Ooh, fast gauge is coming out. Though unfortunately that wouldn't be quite useful against the Invis. Nice.
Ooh.
Very well timed there.
You know, that double point, if it was only positioned a little bit differently in the folder, could have been attached to the that base anomaly. And you know that does break Life Aura.
Yeah. That would have been a very scary base anomaly to try to stand against. And unfortunately now in hand, that double point with Grandman isn't quite enough to destroy Life Aura, so Enduring Grey will have to find out some other way. I don't think we will be seeing that Life Aura expiring anytime soon. It takes, I believe, 14 slow fast gauge turns, so...
The other problem here is that Ray does not have attack stats for the Buster.
Yeah.
So this is, I believe, even if this connects on the correct panel, so that both of the hits land at the same time, I don't believe it will do enough.
Ooh, though there is that destroy pulse which will be very unfortunate to have to throw into just a life orb, but that might be the only option that. Oh, actually, there is the element man at the beginning. I missed that. Oh, but that will go into anti-damage, so that is still a very bad outcome. Maybe instead of going for that destroy pulse right away, the option could have been for A to throw away Groundman SP even. Ooh. Then that combo at the end from Bitmuffin with the fire hits and elect pulses for D-Cross, finishing up the game right there.
And now we see a very interesting field here. We have the Super Rocks, and then we have a full grass field. This could be very painful for any fire chips being thrown out there, particularly the fire hits coming out from Bitmuffin.
Yeah, especially with an elect pulse. I believe you can basically confirm the fire hit into elect pulse in Beast Out. Ooh, Elements Man is coming down. Let's see who gets the back B, and Bitmuffin got it again.
Ooh, not enough time to squeeze in the fire hit 3. That full cust coming out.
Now we see that full cast and Endurance is taking a machine gun, so they might be able to get that D-Cross. Ooh, and there it was. And that fire hit will unfortunately go into the anti-damage and maximum area for Ray, so we might be seeing air spin combos coming out, and there it is.
I do believe Bitmuffin had enough time there to possibly squeeze in a charge shot to get rid of the anti-damage first.
Yeah.
We are seeing a lot of chips being fired, I would think a little bit prematurely, and just falling flat into anti-damage.
Yeah, so this interaction with anti-damage works both ways. So on one side you can have players using anti-damage too early, which means they're more likely to lose it for a buster shot or just an area grab. And on the other hand, people throwing their chips into anti-damage, which is definitely very tempting as a guaranteed way to deal with it. And now the anti-damage trade, ooh, and that rush is going to be very bad, as that will basically confirm the air spin combo from, and there it goes. Wait, was that air spin, did that air spin go all the way? I feel like that got destroyed a bit too quickly.
I feel like that ended prematurely, yeah. Yeah, so the static did not extend it.
Oh no!
Yeah, very strange interaction there.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can imagine happening is that air spin has a lower number of spins, so basically you need to time it very quickly to try to use that before the air spin times out. Ooh, and there goes that combo before the anti-damage coming out. And the Invis will deny air spin coming from Prey's side. Ooh.
Oh!
That positioning.
So unfortunately, we didn't get the extended static wheel, but still, both parts landed there, both the air spin and the static. A lot of damage coming out regardless.
Ooh, and now Bitmuffin is going for Tomahawk Cross, maybe trying to get extra B hits from these Bs, but unfortunately, I don't think that will work, as both the Beast Jump with Tomahawk will, I believe, move out of the static range, but also Uninstall will cause flinching.
So both players here trying to go for a cross cancel.
Ooh, looks like the start with Bees maybe to deal with the anti-damage instead of trying to get the extra hits. Or extra
Oh! That very last hit of that static.
Ooh, that,
And
yeah.
it enabled to confirm.
And the Invis. Ooh.
Oh.
Now Ray is holding onto that Invis for the end of turn or for that rush to go through. But now their HP, only 3 HP difference between them.
Ending exactly 260 versus 260 here. Both players have base anomaly, but the field is in a state where neither of them will be able to use it effectively.
Looks like Ray is going for that bug fix, getting bug fix a bit early into the game, trying to fix the HP drain, which I believe was Ray uninstalled. I don't think so. But it does add up from Windrak and Elec Pulse 2 causing flinching, so that is something to keep in mind when running a bug build.
Bitmuffin taking time to think things through, trying to figure out how to close this.
Yeah, they are going for a bit of a defensive turn, but again, with this low HP, any defense can also double as offense, maybe with chip charging as well. Ooh, bug fix gets CFC'd. We do know that life arrow.
Oh no, we saw that the anti-damage. No answer to this life aura regardless, but there is the potential here.
Oh no. And that will get a D-cross. There it is, doing 200 damage. Bitmuffin down to 60 HP. Ooh.
Oh, so the bees will... The risky hunting is gonna block the Judgman whip.
That was definitely very close. But let's see where the game goes from here. Bitmuffin thinking about taking even more defense with that life aura. Ray doesn't have anything immediately in hand to deal with it, so we might be seeing a Tango Cross this turn or maybe next turn. But again, Tengu is very risky to go with these Aqua Swords in hand. Ooh. That could have been very unfortunate positioning, but unfortunately the punish wasn't quite there.
Ooh, Bitmuffin not managing to line up here.
And yeah, Ray is probably going to be holding on to that base anomaly for Tengu this turn. And yeah, just going straight with the same hand. Are we going to see a beast overturn coming out from Bitmuffin trying to connect the Aqua Sword?
So unfortunately for Bitmuffin, those the top row of panels is destroyed. These broken panels do stop base anomaly.
And I believe Ray was still an invis at the end of turn, or did that run out? Because that could stop the back B from activating. Ooh, did run out. Base anomaly is coming out there before.
Oh!
That will connect, yeah. And then that pull happening just at the end there, that could have ended the game, but now we're going to game 3. we do see that full cast play from Ray, which I believe at this point Bitmuffin is already used to that and going into their own dust cross, trying to get as much value as possible. I believe that was Blastman going into beats.
Both players getting this value from the full cost here.
Yeah, we do see that Destroy Pulse in Enduring Gray's hand, though he would need to use something else to try to deal with that Life Aura, which Static is quite the nice answer for. Ooh. So there is that Ray Smile, maybe even a counter hit potential with Elec Pulses from Bitmuffin's side.
I think it's interesting the psychological effect these geyser panels have. The volcanoes, I mean. Because you would think that most people would not want to sit on top of them simply because of the potential for combined damage to destroy their life aura. Ooh, Static comes through. Rush also coming through at the same time.
That was unfortunate timing with that rush there. And actually, now that I brought up these volcano panels, they can also be used by Bitmuffin to try to boost extra B hit.
Oh, those two hits.
Yeah, it's only 40 damage per geyser hit, but it's more about the psychological damage of having to step back into it again. Definitely doesn't feel good to do.
Yeah, and also losing your health to environmental damage does not feel good. You want to be focused on your opponent here.
Ooh, and we do see on right side going for that Destroy Pulse as well, and Tengu Cross, so Tengu Cross pull will be used to confirm that, and unfortunately Bitmuffin doesn't have an anti-damage to try to deny that. Well, maybe bees, who knows, the dream is still alive. Oh no, going into Spout Cross in the face of a potential Destroy Pulse will be very painful if that connects.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Oh!
Ooh.
Oh, come on!
Prey deciding not to match, but being able to connect that either way. And now the blind as well. Very long blind, custom HP bug, very high normal HP bug as well. Thankfully we can see from Enduring Gray's side, so we do have a better view of the matchup compared to Bitmuffin. And we also know that Ray is going for that full out combo with Static Wheel as well.
Yeah, Ray looking to close this out here. Oh, the anti-navi activates.
Though that base anomaly still has the perfect area to connect as well. And there it goes, doing quite a bit of damage. Let's see if Bitmuffin is able to survive the Static Wheel though.
Oh.
They end up missing again. That miss. Whoa, that was very unfortunate for Ray, and now the game basically flipped, and that anti-damage with Rush cracking a dead.
Oh no!
That will probably be game there for Bitmuffin. Oh.
Oh, there is still hope. Can Ray do it?
And I think that Buster Shot is mid movement, so Ray does have to cross cancel and maybe mash very quickly. I'm not sure if this is even possible. It might end just before Ray has any time to do anything. There we go. Ah, there it is, yeah. That buster shot at the end of turn, finishing off this match. What a match.
Wow, well played to both players. I'm not sure what to say.
Yeah, that was a really crazy ending. And Doomgrave was very rough both times, missing that full static wheel combo, which both times would have been enough for game, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Wow, just
Yeah.
I'm amazed. That was very well played to both players. Really, it was a very fun match to watch and commentate.
Yeah, that definitely was quite something at the very end there. Where GG's, well played to both sides. And yeah, unfortunately, that was our final match for the stream. But yeah, before we end the stream, I'm just going to briefly go through the bracket to explain where we are now and what we might be seeing for next week's stream. Okay, so this is where we've just left the bracket. We've seen the Bitmuffin match, vs Enduring Grey, and few other matches were played. So this tournament is being played throughout the previous and next weeks. So um, these matches were not quite happening in order. So as you can see here, the bracket did progress along on winner's side. So we will be seeing how these matches will go through into the next turn. I mean, into the I was still thinking about the match into the next week, and we can see here on winner's side of the bracket, going into the winner's semifinal. So for this will be left again for next week to see if the match between players Zero and Symes, how's that going to end up going. So stay tuned for next week to find out. However, before we end today's stream, just going to briefly give a shout out for our Ko-fi page. So basically, Ko-fi is the way we decide to go through with extra support for the N1GP. So it's basically a service where we can receive donations, and all donations will receive an extra roll, which is the millions roll, referencing the Navicus piece from the games. And between last stream and this stream, we did receive some donations, so I'm just going to give a quick shout out. Some of these were from 2 weeks ago, where unfortunately the layout didn't quite work, so I'm going to be doing that shout out right now. And yeah, so thank you to Ubu for getting that donation for $3 and saying let Spartman get some cyber candy. And yeah, I mean, Spartman, we've already seen all of these drawings from Ubu for Spartman in the stream and previous stream, so thank you for these drawings and the donation as well. Next donation is from Bitmuffin for $15, saying to give them their orange color back and the Mega Peak. Yeah, I believe they should have that roll for a few months now, so the roll will be $3 per month, so that will last for quite a while. Next donation is from Z, who we've already seen in this matchup, giving $30 and saying to make an airspin emote. Well, I don't believe we have an airspin emote. I think Mars already made one from a while back, and I believe Zay was very happy, and we've seen that being used in the NOGP quite a number of times. So thank you again for the donation. And the final donation that we received is from Hei Jiong, which I might be saying that very wrong, so feel free to correct me at any point, for $15. and they're saying, I've always wanted to try out net battling when I was a kid, but never had the chance to do so. One day I had this urge to play again, and I came across to this community. I love watching the streams, and maybe one day I'll get to participate when I'm ready. Keep up the great work. And yeah, thank you again for the donation. Glad you've enjoyed the stream, and thank you for everyone who's been watching us and going through this quite journey that we've seen through today's stream and Blood Moon so far. And yeah, obviously we will be here when you are ready, so people are more than happy to help. You can always hit, for anyone else new coming into the stream, you can always go into the N1GP Discord, which is either in chat or in the stream title, and people are more than happy to help. And yeah, so at the end of the stream, thank you everyone for watching today's stream. Hope everyone's enjoyed it, and a shout out to Enduring Great for making all of these double VODs, and obviously for Salad working on that stream layout. And another shout out, or big shout out, for our commentators today, Nerith and Symes. Thank you guys for joining, and obviously for all of the players that have played their matches. And yeah, hope everyone's enjoyed today's stream so far. Hopefully we'll see you again next week for our final stream for Blood Moon, or maybe 2 streams. Going to have to wait to see out. But before the end of next week, we will have our new Moon champion. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.